Hello, and welcome to Life of a Boss, the podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, public speaker, and mentor, Jason Hardin. This podcast is all about helping audiences create and reach their own definition of success through positive thinking, perseverance, and personal development. Having survived extreme obstacles from an early age, such as cancer, poverty, abuse, family dysfunction, and even homelessness, Jason has learned how to master the art of resilience and defy all odds to become the boss he is today. So, get ready for some serious game and remember to keep an open mind. Now, without further delay, here is your host, Jason Hardin.
And welcome back to another wonderful episode of Life of a Boss, the podcast. I am your host, Jason Hardin, and I'm grateful to be here. And I say grateful because, I always say grateful, but it has a particular meaning today because it's part of our lesson. And really, today I want to talk about self-curing jealousy, envy, and hate. Did you hear me? I said self-curing jealousy, envy, and hate because I'm sure these are all feelings that we've all felt at some point or another. And the crazy thing about these feelings is that they can only be corrected by oneself. Can't nobody control how you feel but you. And I want to touch on this because we're all about helping people create and live their own definition of success. And I can imagine a definition of success that involves being jealous and envious and hateful of others. I can't imagine that being anyone's definition of success. I can't imagine somebody saying, you know what? And the sad thing is that people do. I'm not naive enough to say that some people get off on irritating other people, on being hateful, being jealous, being envious. But that's a mental health issue, and I want to touch on this very sensitive topic to all of us, because if we're not dealing with it, we're dealing with it because of someone else. If we're not dealing with it personally, then we're dealing with it through someone else's actions, and a lot of us are. Some people live totally amazing lives full of amazing people around them, and nobody at their job, their work, their school, or in their life has any of these feelings, and that's great. But a lot of us, we're forced to work with people. We're forced to live with people. We're forced to be family members with. We're forced to be, captains or teammates with people that just might not be happy for your success or anyone's success for that matter. So today I just want to talk about curing jealousy, envy, and hate. Self-cure, your own, because I say self-curing because, like I said, nobody else can do it for you. This is something that you're going to have to reach inside, checking your own emotions and feelings and anger and pain and whatever trauma you've been through, being able to check it, understand it, process it, and not let you have to filter the garbage that comes in your mind. Because we're not immune to thinking some bullshit. We're not immune. No one is. Because even if you don't care about anything negative, there's a lot of negative input that gets to us through news, social media, ads on whatever website we're looking to do something positive, there might be an ad for some bullshit. There might be a link to some article, to some drama. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to be aware of how we feel and why we feel it. Constantly aware. We have to be constantly aware of what we're feeling and how we're and why we're feeling it, and process it. Like literally, if it's some paperwork that comes across your desk, that's very important. You have to process it. You have to do something with it. If it's a bill, you have to pay it. If it's a task, you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that needs filing, you have to file it. If it has to be mailed out, you got to mail it out. You have to process it. And that's what I'm talking about with feelings and emotions. The same thing happens. You have to process it. Because if you don't process it, you send it out just as it came in. And if it came in causing anger and rage, you might send out some anger and rage. If it comes in with hurt and disgust and a lot of abuse, you might send some of that garbage out. And like I said, we have to become filters for our own feelings and emotions, not for anyone else's. We don't have that responsibility, job, right? Power, control. We can only filter our own thoughts and emotions and process them in a healthy manner. And really, a healthy manner is in any way that you can process it without reacting to it first. Sometimes you might have to sit and think. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes you might have to talk to someone about it because you don't know much about the problem or about the person or about whatever's involved. However, you have to process it. You see what I'm saying? Before you make a reaction, it is processing. So today, I want to just touch on this in regards to identify some causes of it, and then give us some ways to overcome it. Like I said, it's a very common feeling. And just to differentiate what all this is, okay, what is jealousy? Jealousy is by definition is thinking someone wants what you have. Envy is wanting what someone else has. And hate, I think we all know what hate is. It's just angry for whatever reason at someone. It could be personal, it could be not personal, it could be whatever reason. It could be something that happened, something that didn't happen, something you think, something you believe. We don't even have a definition of why people hate, because there is no single definition. But we are going to discuss some causes. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some causes to hate. But anyway, let me back up. What we're going to do is this. Let's go back to the beginning. Why are most of us jealous? Or why would someone become envious? Or why would someone, become hateful? Why would that even exist? And and the first thing that comes to mind is insecurities. Insecurities can breed some jealousy and hate and some envy. And why? Because insecurities are a lack of confidence in oneself. If I don't think much of me, it's easy for me to be angry at others. Second reason, comparison. Oh my God. How many hate out of comparing yourself or themselves or oneself to someone else? That's a breeding ground for hate, jealousy, and envy. Comparing, looking at what someone else has. regardless of how they got it. They could have gotten it by ill means. They could have gotten it honestly. They could have worked for it. They could have been given it. Does it matter? The point is that it doesn't matter to you. But that jealousy, envy, and hate is still there. Why? Because you're comparing yourself. No one gave me, or I don't have that, or I never had that chance, or why does bad things happen to good people? Fuck comparing yourself to anyone's situation. It will only slow you down, and it will only hold you up. I'm speaking from personal growth and experiences. Believe me, I spent a lot of time. It's almost like I scheduled time to hate and be jealous and envious of other people. I took time out my day, out my week, out my month to be angry. Like I said, it'll slow you up. Stop comparing yourself to others. Focus on you. Anyway, fear of scarcity. Some of us think that there is only a certain amount of success to go around. Somebody thinks somebody thinks there's like not enough money or money is running out. Or even land running out. I'm going to tell you, we have as much as we ever had of anything, if not more. I'm going to tell you why, because now people package and print and create anything. We have more land now because now we can develop different places. Before, it's like, if you're only developing in around this or that, then of course it's going to be scarcity. You're going to think that, I can only live in a big city around a bunch of people. But when you start, living off the grid and you start, using these portable homes and tiny homes and start thinking big and start looking at nature shows, like there's a lot of land out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of everything out there. And thinking that success or money or anything is scarce is going to make you hateful, jealous, and envious, because you're going to want what somebody else has because you think that's the last of it. So we got 3 things so far that cause jealousy, envy, and hate. Insecurity, comparison, and fear of scarcity. Number 4, personal inadequacy. A lot of us look at our own flaws as limitations and look at someone else without those limitations and think that they can do anything, they can have anything, they can create anything, they can have anyone, they can have love, they can have riches, they can have jewels, they can have homes, they can have, you know what I'm saying? And totally not true. Totally not true. So that's another thing. Feeling like one is less than, below than, inadequate, flawed can really create how many people that might be disabled, might be going through something, and you see them and they're just angry at everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you almost think like, oh, they have a reason to be, but you also be like, damn, man. If you had a better attitude, because some people are just mean and hateful because they've been through some things. You know, they might have had a disability or something, that they, a limitation, lost a limb, lost an eye, blind, lost your legs, can't walk, whatever it is. It's easy for that to make one hateful. Doesn't excuse it. And I think that's the whole point. If you want to be a boss, you got to understand none of this shit excuse it. That's why you're listening to this show. And not a show that tells you these are the reasons to be a bitch ass motherfucker. And it's not. This is all about how to cure bitch assness. To be 100% frank, these are a bunch of laid out calm terms to cure bitch assness. And what I'm going through right now, the causes of bitch assness. Insecurity can cause bitch assness. Comparison can cause bitch assness. Fear of scarcity can cause bitch assness. Personal inadequacy can cause bitch assness. Next on the list is unfulfilled expectations. Someone's life didn't go the way they planned, and they're now a bitch-ass motherfucker. You see where I'm going with this? You see how all this plays into success? Understanding these feelings within ourselves and correcting that shit? You won't get too far being a bitch-ass motherfucker, and if you do, you're gonna be there alone. Everybody around you is gonna be a bitch-ass motherfucker, because that's the only people that can tolerate other bitch-ass motherfuckers for too long. Is another bitch-ass motherfucker. Correct me if I'm wrong. Call in, write, email, cancel me if I'm wrong. But I'm only saying it because it's true. And I'm only putting it plainly because I want everyone to understand. I don't want to get lost in the jargon here. I don't want to get lost in the personal development terminology. I want us all to understand what this is all about, what I'm all about, what this show is all about, what living life of a boss is all about. Next on the list, past experiences. It's easy to let our experiences, the people that have hurt us, the people that have done us wrong, the people that have betrayed us, the people that have not looked out for us, it's easy to let all of that make us hateful and envious and just angry. Man, if I hadn't went through this over this bitch, I'd be here. Oh my God. How I thought that for many a days. Like I said, man, we want to cure ourselves. It's not to tell someone else, but in understanding this, it's helping you understand other people. I do want you to understand others and why they might feel this way. And even then, it's not your job to correct them, but you can give some positive reinforcement. You can opt out of feeding into it when you know better. You know what I'm saying? You can maneuver around them. It's all about understanding, and I want you to understand that these are real issues and real people that get folks caught up in things that don't matter, and it wastes a bunch of time. You know what I'm saying? It's my God, how much time I've wasted hating and being jealous and envious that I could have spent building myself and creating myself and doing whatever it is I wanted, but I couldn't because I was angry. I was stuck, and I'm trying to get you unstuck. If he's a bitch ass motherfucker, you stuck. Regardless what you got, you're stuck at some point in life. You're stuck in your relationship, you're stuck in your career, you're stuck in your finances, you're stuck in your dreams and ambitions. Something is not working the fuck out if he's a bitch ass motherfucker, and that's truth. To whatever level. You don't have to be the bitch ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It can be some small shit you're working on that might be hindering you from making it to that next level. And only you know what those issues are. And that's why listening to podcasts and listening to things like this, it's a personal journey. It's a personal experience. I'm talking to you and you don't even have to admit it. You can just listen and act like I'm talking about somebody else. But the point is, these are lessons in life that I think either we get them, we understand them, we're born with them, or we have to learn them. They have to be shown to us. And there's a combination of us out there with a combination of these issues and learning abilities. You might be great at something. and there's one thing that just ain't right in your life. And you might be a bitch ass motherfucker in just one area. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only putting it like that because in the end, man, if we look at flaws, if we look at any obstacle that we have and just take it as is and not try to correct it or not try to, you know what I'm saying, deal with it or process it, we're not going to get too far. So it's good to understand these things. But next one. Last one, this one was past experiences. Next one is cultural and social conditioning. That means being influenced by the world around us, and how many of us, show of hands, are influenced by the world around us. My hand is up if you can't see. And it's completely normal. It's society. It's behavior. It's psychology 101. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be impacted by the world around us. But once again, here comes that word processing. The most bullshit can come up to up your timeline if you don't know how to process it. Oh my God. That thing can set you off. That thing can have you cussing people out. That thing can have you going down a rabbit hole of searching for this, and that, and out of nonsense and anger and frustration. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time that can be wasted because we fall into, quote unquote, the social norm. Because the social norm is whatever the hot trend is. So don't think the social norm is in any way supposed to be normal or supposed to be average or supposed to be, something that we can just set our watch to and live by for the rest of our lives. No, the social norm is going to keep changing. And it's not always healthy. Matter of fact, it rarely is. So we have to create our own routines, traditions, our own standards and expectations of ourselves. And set our own social norm. Because comparing yourself to what you see on Facebook, what you see on Instagram, somebody's snapshot of their joy in the midst of all their pain, and thinking you want that over your glorious life, that can create some hate and envy and jealousy. So I gave you 7 causes, 7 factors that can make a hate and envy and jealousy, and that's insecurity, comparison, fear of scarcity, personal inadequacy, unfulfilled expectations, past experiences, and cultural and social conditioning. For those that want to write it down. Now, the important part, really want to write this down, is how do we overcome it? How do we overcome the bitch assness within us all? 100. I can't put it a better way. Like, everyone has to understand this. I'm not just talking to the scholars and the doctors and the counselors. I'm not just talking to those that are been institutionalized. I'm not just talking to those on the streets. I'm talking to everybody that might be feeling this. And you know what? That can be anybody that's feeling this. That can be a boss. Somebody who made it in some other thing or in some industry, and just like they're trying to make it to that next level and they don't know what it is. And I think this can unlock that in a lot of people. This one episode can unlock the bitch assness in you and get you to that next level, get you to that dream, get you to joy. And that's what it really is about, because if you're hateful and jealous and envious, how much joy can you have? You can have a bunch of toys to play with, a bunch of clothes to wear, a bunch of cars to drive, a bunch of houses to live in, but how much joy can you have? being envious and jealous and hateful of other people for no reason. People that don't know you, people that never wronged you. I get it if there's a reason. But even if there's a reason, like to be jealous and envious, like I said, man, we want to cure those thoughts and feelings and process them within ourselves so we can just get to that next level. And that next level is really joy, happiness, money, fortune, greatness. All that shit lies on the other end of processing whatever the fuck is wrong with us. So there's never a reason to ignore what the fuck is wrong with you. It's gonna come up again. And every time you come up to a test or a quiz or a point at which you can get to that next level, whatever the fuck is wrong with you, if it's unprocessed, it's going to keep you from getting to that next level. And bitch assness will definitely keep you from getting to that next level. We are an interdependent universe. We have to work with each other. And we can get great things done. So if you ain't trying to be great, then you ain't got to worry about working with people. You ain't got to be worried about, being happy and, and accomplishing shit. But if you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure you are. I'm pretty sure you want to win at something to some degree. Anyway, let's get to the solutions. First is self-reflection. You gotta know yourself. Good, bad, and ugly. When you know yourself, you can accept certain things. You can know what you have to work with. But what it is you own that shit. When you understand it and look at it and accept it, that means you own that shit. And now no one can use it against you. And if you own your flaws and no one can use it against you, it makes you less hateful and envious and jealous of someone else because you feel now that you can accomplish whatever the hell you want. Like I said, your attention is now on getting it instead of what someone else got already. I want you to focus on getting it and not what someone else got. Whatever they got, it doesn't matter what someone else has. Self-reflection. Like I said, all this is self. This is personal development here. That is the key to greatness. That is the key to everything you ever wanted. Personal development, being better. And not the best at anything, being the best you can be. Nothing else. You. Outperforming yourself. Out-loving yourself. Out-giving yourself. Outperforming yourself. That leads you to greatness. Second is confidence. You gotta create self-confidence in yourself. You gotta foster it. You gotta nurture it. You gotta create it and make more of it. You gotta find ways to stay confident. You gotta stay away from people that are negative and be around people that compliment you and not just tell you good things, but really compliment you. That do the things that you can't do. And can't do the things that you can. You guys win as a team, man. You have to be confident. To not be worried about other people and what other people are doing. I mean, because with a level of confidence, you can focus on you. Because you can feel like you can get things done. So you start moving, you start acting in a different way when you're confident. You start commanding shit. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bullying way either. You just know you have that charisma, that moxie, that je ne sais quoi, all them words that I don't know the meaning of. You got it. You know what I'm saying? When you have confidence and you can make things happen. And knowing and feeling like you can make things happen allows you to make things happen, and making things happen allows you to focus more on you and what you're trying to build in the long run and less on others. And when you focus less on others, you're not as jealous and you're not as envious and you're not as hateful. focus on what you're trying to create. Number 3 is a big one, and I brought it up at the beginning of the show. Practice gratitude. Being thankful for what you have. Oh my God. That's like the answer. That's like the number 1 answer. And I'm going to give you 5. I have more than that, but I'm going to give you 5 to work on. And number 3 is practice gratitude. Appreciate. I've done whole episodes on appreciation, like literally, like just that one word. It's a superpower. If you can appreciate what you have, you can see how you can use it. You can see how others would use it. I'm talking about from the air you breathe to the dollar you have in your pocket to whatever you have in your refrigerator, to whoever you know, whatever you have access to your 2 legs and 2 eyes. Man, when you start seeing everything you have as valuable, everything that's already on your person, everything that you have access to, the people you know, those that would do anything for you, those that won't, when you start seeing whatever you have and appreciating where you are in life, you start being able to see what you can do with all of this shit. And that feeling right there, you ain't got time to think of nobody else. You ain't got time to be helpful, envious and hateful and jealous. You ain't got time to be a bitch-ass motherfucker. When you see what you can create and what you can do and what you have, with what you have. And with who you have in your life. So yeah, practice gratitude. Appreciate everything you have. I was listening to Jim Rohn, and he said, man, I appreciate the phone that I didn't invent, and the plane I didn't create, and the course that pay me that I didn't construct. You know what I'm saying? So like, wow. He said, I can go on and on with this shit. And that's how we can really be. We can go on and on with the shit we're able to appreciate. The shit we should appreciate. And if you think about all the things you can appreciate, man, like I said, and if you focus on what you have and what you can do with what you got, you start worrying less about others. You start not giving a fuck what somebody else is doing with what they got. Therefore, you're not envious, you're not jealous, and you're not hateful. Number 4, cultivate empathy. Empathy. Who doesn't know what that word means? It really means seeing yourself through the shoes or the eyes or the situation of others. It really means perspective. Can you share someone's perspective? Or are you just closed-minded and you only know how you feel and you can only understand how you feel? Because that's the opposite of empathy. See, people, they don't want to admit that they can only understand how they feel until you say, like, are you empathetic? And they have to say no, but who doesn't want to be empathetic? Who doesn't want to understand someone? Who wants to admit that they're not even willing to understand someone? It's usually a hateful person. It's usually a jealous and envious person. Do you see the pattern here? Like I said, you want to cultivate empathy. It's valuable to share someone's perspective. It's valuable to be able to see what they see, feel what they feel. It's valuable because that experience you can gain from without having to go through it. You can learn from, you can do some things. You can create solutions to problems you didn't even have if you can empathize with someone. So practice empathy. We all look at what someone has, but we don't look at what someone been through to get it. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at some of the prices people had to pay to be in the situations that they're in, or what they even went through that didn't even have anything to do with their succeeding at. Some people had to be free from slavery to invent some shit. They couldn't just wake up every day and decide to create and build and engineer. No, they had to escape dogs and whips and working for no pay to be creative. To eventually invent some shit, to construct some shit, to go down in history books as this, and that. Like I said, don't judge somebody by where they're at now. Empathize. What could they have gone through to make them the way they are, to get them where they are, to let them have what they have? When you start understanding others, you'll start understanding yourself more. And be like, oh, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Oh, I'm not like this or I'm not like that. Maybe there's a benefit to being like this and like that. Because you know what I'm saying? You start to just ask yourself questions that'll help you fix you. Number 5 is the last one for today. Limit social media. Oh my God. Like I said, we're back to that social conditioning thing. And with social media, we always have what's supposed to be your definition of success on our phones at all times, on every platform that we're on. Somebody is telling us what success is, what it looks like, what it feels like, how much it costs, what you have when you got it, and then you think that's yours. You start to think every picture of everybody else who's happy is what you're supposed to have, and you stop being happy with what you got. Even if you was happy with it, if you didn't see any of this shit. Some people do not, like I said, if you can't process emotions and feelings, stay the fuck off social media. Matter of fact, get on ChatGPT, because at least that motherfucker can help you. You put in all your problems, all your shit, and that motherfucker will regurgitate some shit that'll help you. It'll assess whatever the fuck you wrote it, give you some suggestions to solve your problems. And like I said, a lot of people that do this don't want to solve their problems. They want to make excuses for them. I don't want you to be like that. If you're listening to this show, don't make excuses for not near a problem. Cure your inner bitch assness, and you will get to the next level, whatever that is. Because even if you understand it, you can maneuver others around others. You can maneuver around situations. You can maneuver around people that are just hateful, envious, and jealous. And you can get to where you want to go when people are obstacles that have these issues. I want to equip you to succeed. I want to equip you with everything you need to understand what being a boss is about from top to bottom. Anyway, that's my time. I love y'all. I spent too much time on this today, but like I said, it's so important. It's so important. It's so important. Like I said, you become your worst enemy when you start having a bunch of enemies. When you start having enemies that don't even exist, thinking people hate you and people don't like you and people are competing with you and it's just you. I don't want that to be you. There's enough of real problems to go around than to be making shit up. Alright, anyway, I love y'all, man. Check us out, lifeofaboss.net, man, is the website. Follow me on Hardway Hardin on Instagram and Twitter. I don't tweet much, but if you tweet me, I tweet back. Yeah, man, and just remember that success is a lifestyle. It's in what you do and what you say, how you act, what you eat, man. It's in everything. So be mindful of everything you do and everything you put out there and everything you take into your system and in your circle and your family. And like I said, just be mindful. All right? I love y'all. And until next time, peace.
Did anything stand out to you in today's show? If so, let us know. Your questions, comments, and concerns are important to Jason, as he is determined to always deliver to you only the most impactful information and content. Until next time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave a review whenever possible. You may visit lifeofaboss.net for more episodes and great resources to help you become the absolute boss that you were meant to be. You can also follow Jason on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hardway Hardin. Thank you. And to never forget that success is a lifestyle.